I've always been a wannabe cowboy, and I'll always be a wannabe cowboy. But I married a Texan, so I married a cowgirl. And she has the most wonderful aunt that is absolutely a Texan cowgirl. This is Jane Davis. She's from San Angelo, Texas.
Are we through?
You just retired, right?
June 24th.
From where?
From First Financial Bank of San Angelo, Texas. After 30 years of banking, half of it was part-time, half of it was full-time.
Tell me this. You were telling me some things that you heard on the phone, because you worked the phone for 20 years.
15 years.
15 years. Give me one of the interesting talks you had.
Well, I had a lady that was a mystery lady. She called all the time, and the readout said she was from Amarillo. I can't hear you. You can't hear me?
I'm sorry.
My readout at the bank said she was from Amarillo, Texas. But she always said, "Hello, Mrs. Boyce. How are you today?" And I'd say, "I'm just fine." I never knew her name, but it said she was from Amarillo. And I often wondered why she was still banking in San Angelo, Texas, when she lived in Amarillo, Texas, which is almost 400 miles away. But one day she told me I had time because I had 5 lines, and usually they were lit up so I couldn't talk very long. But she told me, she said, "I moved away, but I left my account there because I hope someday to come back. And that's the best, friendliest place that I've ever been in my life, and the best bank I've ever banked at." So she left her account there. She continued to call, and every time she called, I'd know it was her by her saying, "Hello, Miss Boyce, how are you today?"
Well, thank you. Thank you. Do you have another story you'd like to say?
Well, I can tell about my retirement party.
Could you?
Yes. The bank gave us a retirement party. Another lady and I had worked. I'd worked 15 years part-time. She had worked 12. And she was in her late 60s, and I'm not going to tell you how old I was, but I was way old enough to retire. So we decided to retire June the 24th on the same day. We worked in the same department in customer service in the phone center. Her name was Dee Richards. She's a black lady. She and I loved each other dearly. And they gave us a huge party, invited both branches for our big meeting that we have once a month. They had a cake. They gave us each a dozen roses. They gave us a gift card, of course, with money on it. And our bank president, who's president of both branches, a wonderful man, said, "Jane, come up front. I want you to say something." Well, I had a huge lump in my throat, and you know, I couldn't talk hardly, and I'm a very talkative person. Anyway, I got up by him, and I thought I would thank him, you know, for all the years they've been so good to me. But that time, I couldn't say anything. And I just kept shaking my head, and he kept saying, "Jane, don't you want to say something?" And I said, "No, no." He said, "For the first time in her entire life, she is speechless." But I didn't think I could adjust to retirement, but I am. And I'm already joined the Tea Party. I'm very active in my church. And my husband is partially handicapped, and I've got my 5th teenager, a 34-year-old grandson, living with me right now. So I've got a busy, busy life.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. And I love you, Jane.
I love you too.